James Marsters, Civilized Man. I found this CD 2 days ago while out at a thrift store I'd never been to before. And I was surprised when I looked it up and found only 4 offers, with the cheapest being $1,000. Usually when I find an offer like that, I assume that the repricers have gone crazy, or whoever is listing it is completely unrealistic for whatever reason. Maybe one repricer went crazy and the rest of the prices went along with it. When you see a listing like that, you want to do a few things. First of all, you want to go to Camel, Camel, Camel and see if it's selling. This CD is actually selling, not month in and month out, but over the last 12 months, it has sold 7 copies. Now, it hasn't sold one since November or December of last year, and there weren't any sales between March and June of last year, but there was a spot there for a few months where 7 were sold. And I believe the reason that a copy has not been sold since November is because the price is so high. And even though there's very few and there is a steady demand, people are not willing to pay $1,000 for this CD, despite the sellers thinking that they are, especially the one for $2,000. That's madness. The CD is selling. That's a good piece of information to know. The second thing is to find out about the price. Is the price completely outrageous? Has it ever been this much? Did it just go up suddenly or recently? So according to Camel, 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 since about the beginning of February, the price has gone up from just under $200 all the way up to over $1,000. So it's been about a month and a half of the price being that high, which is why probably there's been no sales of the CD during that time. It looks like the last sale was when the price was around $180. And there was a couple spikes before that, way up over $1,000. But for the most part, aside from the last month and a half, the price has been around $200. So that says to me that that's more of a realistic area or price, and $1,000 is probably due to there being very few copies, only 4 currently. So there clearly are more copies out there, just very, very few. Another thing to check is eBay. So I went on eBay and looked up the CD and did not find any copies currently for sale. But if you look at sold listings, there were 2 sales this month for $38, $39, and in February for $30. But there's only 2. So clearly that is much less than what the CD has been going for on Amazon. But that's typical that it can go for less on eBay than Amazon. But still, you know, $38 is pretty good for a CD. But considering there's only 2, there's not a bunch of them. There's not like 10 or 12 on there. That says that it's very rare and that it is going for good money and that you can charge more on Amazon than on eBay. So then I also just did a search on Google in general and came up with 1 copy on Discogs. It's a website that has vinyl, CDs, that sort of thing, cassette tapes, has music. And it's a great place to look for music in general. And they had 1 copy for sale for, I believe it was $85. And it also has a cool feature where it shows the lowest and highest that the CD has sold for. And the lowest was, I believe, under $30, and the highest was, it was $114, or I think it was $124. But the average sale price was $78. So again, these are all good signs pointing towards this CD legitimately going for a lot of money. You know, the highest I've ever sold a CD, I think, is around $40, and even $80 is a crazy price for a CD. So clearly this is a very, very rare CD, and there's just not that many floating around out there. And when they go up for sale on Amazon, they're going for really good money. Not $1,000. I don't think, maybe somebody bought it for $1,000, but I doubt it. More likely that it's around the $200 range, which is ridiculously high for a CD, as you probably know. This guy is a singer and an actor. I think he's mostly known for acting. He's still alive, and apparently this CD, he's not offering this CD or not having it reprinted, which makes it very rare. So how do you price it? Well, you could try to sell it for $1,000 or $800, but do you want to sell it, or do you just want to hope that you'll sell it for that much? I feel, you know, I've changed my perspective on this, where before I would go for those ridiculous prices, but now I'm more realistic, saying, do I want to just think that I can, you know, oh my gosh, imagine selling a CD for $1,000, $800, $900. That's crazy, and maybe I'll do that one day. but this is probably not the one. Realistically, it's a much lower price that this will go for. So I'm gonna list it much, much lower, probably about 70% off of what it's going for now. Now the prices, once I list my copy and it goes live, might adjust based on my price, especially if they have repricers, or if more copies end up on the listing, then it's likely that the price will come down as well. And I might, be part of that, being the 5th offer. So I would rather sell my copy for much less than it's currently going for on Amazon. Selling it for $300 would be amazing. Would be my highest sale for any item so far. So I'm going to list it much less and see if it sells. If not, I'll take it down. I mean, even if I have to take it all the way down to $150 or $125 or even $100, that's an amazing sale for any item, especially a CD. This is the case of an item going for a legitimately high price because there is a demand, but the supply is not quite meeting the demand, right? So you can jack your prices up. And other indicators of other websites online say the same thing. eBay says that, and so does Discogs. So this is just an example of one of those items that you have to do a little research on, but it's worth the extra effort. And if I end up selling this item for a couple $100, that's going to be huge. I'll probably make a video about it as well. You never know. I got it for $1 at a thrift store, and clearly someone did not want the CD anymore and did not know that it was such a valuable CD. Otherwise, they might have tried to sell it themselves. This happens all the time. People don't care, they don't know, etc. Keep your eye out for those rare items. You don't know when you're sourcing what's rare and what's not, and whether the prices are inflated or not. And sometimes you cannot make sure they're on the spot while sourcing. But for $1, you figure buy it. Only 4 copies, going for $1,000, the cheapest. The rank is $500,000, so very high for a CD. But that's because it hasn't sold since November, December. But I want to be the next sale, So I'm going to keep an eye on it after it goes in and see if I need to adjust the price, if the price goes down. This has happened before where I found items that I list for a few $100 and then the prices go down significantly for a variety of reasons. Maybe more copies go on the market, or just someone drops the price and everyone else follows. So this is kind of an interesting case that I don't see that often. Usually it's just kind of the same stuff over and over. You come across some valuable items, but ridiculously valuable because there's only enough copies you can count on your hand come along, and then it changes the game. Keep a lookout for these types of items, and as always, remember, keep. The CD I'm talking about, Civilized Man, which is here in my next shipment. And then when you slide over here, there's a message in bright red. You are already at the maximum inventory allowed for this product due to capacity or other restrictions. This product must be removed from this shipment. What? Don't they know I made a video about this? I've been seeing on a Facebook group of booksellers that a lot of people have been posting about seeing this message that is popping up when they are going through their shipping process, getting all of that ready. And so Amazon is basically saying you need to take out that item. We cannot accept it. And what I've found, or what I've heard or read from people that have done some investigating, is the rationale seems to be that Amazon is trying to do us a favor because they feel that their warehouses are at capacity for these items and they're not moving fast enough. They have too many. So they don't want us to send them in and incur storage charges or storage fees for an item that might not sell anytime soon. So that would seem to indicate that these are long tail items. I say BS because this does not fall into that category. While it is ranked at 500,000, there were 7 sales of it last year. So this is not an item that is selling once a year, twice a year. It might become a longer tail item. It hasn't sold since November, December, but that's only about 4 months ago. So we're not talking about an item that takes 8 months, 9 months, 12 months to sell 1 copy. 7 copies sold over 12 months is not long tail to me. So this doesn't make any sense. There's only 4 copies currently at an Amazon warehouse, and they're CDs. So someone else help me here as to what is going on with Amazon. This is the first time it's happened to me. I don't know if this is going to become a new thing with everybody. Luckily, it was only one item out of the 84 that I was going to send in, so it's going to be 83 that they're going to be in this shipment. So that's good. So to look on the positive side, at least this was the only item that they took out. But on the negative side, this was going to be my highest priced item ever if it were to potentially sell. This sucks, Amazon. You need to let us know what's going on here, or don't let us know because you run the show and it's all about, you know, whatever your rationale is with the algorithms or whatnot. But there's nothing we can do, so I'll just take it out and send the rest of the items in. I'm just glad it wasn't a bunch of items, but we'll see. This kind of has me worried now. What's the point of sourcing something if I can't send it in? I'll put it in the next shipment and see if it goes through. Cross my fingers, and let me know if you've had this happen to you anytime soon and why you think Amazon is doing this and if you found anything out about it. As always, remember, keep booking! One, two, three. As okay.